Hey guys, Bootleg Weird Al Yankovic here, and it's time for another weekly Upkeep, where we cover the news and card prices over the past week in Magic the Gathering. We were delayed by a cyclone the last time, but we're getting this one out quick because next week is Spoiler Week, which as a Standard and Commander enjoyer, I will be covering immensely on this channel. In the meantime though, the story for Khans of Tarkir is dropping as I record this, and in each chapter, they've been including artwork of the set. Now I could go full content creator and act like this is insane! Huge news for 10 minutes, or I could just summarize and say there's a lot of dragons, Nicol Bolas is back, a few of the 5 clans got a fresh coat of paint, and Elspeth is getting another Planeswalker card, which alongside Eugene marks the end of the one Planeswalker per story set theme they had going for a bit. Ajani and Jace have popped up too, but it looks like they'll just be story characters this time. No new cards for them, sorry. As I said, next week is when things will really kick off for Tarkir. We will see all the new cards coming into the game then, so sub to this channel if you want a pro's opinion on each card. I'm going to be going over all the new set cards and talking about whether I think they'll be worth your time. Now that we're past that, it's time to cover our biggest news story of the week. Does Liliana like eating potatoes? Yep, over on Reddit, they've been asking the real questions. Wizards, in what is likely an attempt to distract us from our pursuit of the truth, revealed the Spongebob SquarePants Secret Lair, dropping March 24th and likely selling out the same day to all the kids from the 90s and early 2000s. For those looking to get every card, there's 3 secret lairs total. One for the characters, one for the lands, and the one I've seen the most complaints about. My thoughts on this particular one are mixed, as someone who grew up with SpongeBob, but said only 2 videos ago that I'm starting to get tired of these super silly cards. Though I will say, if there was a setting to do it, it's probably this one. Though it is a bit of a missed opportunity, though, that the counterspell didn't have the alternating uppercase, lowercase writing. Don't know why they didn't do that. They even had a secret lair a while ago where they did just that, so I don't know what they were thinking with that one. Community response from fans of the show seems pretty positive. Predictably, those with no interest in SpongeBob or Universes Beyond shrugged and mostly got on with their day. Value-wise, Gary the Snail of all cards is the standout, being a reprint of Toxrill the Corrosive, one of the most publicly disliked cards in Commander. Something about him being a 7/7/2 just makes me laugh a bit. The rest of the cards don't really stand out as being particularly expensive, unfortunately, though, making this set below average in reprint value. On the flip side, though, the choices of cards are really strong, which to me personally matters a lot more than just the value. SpongeBob being Joda the Unifier, a pretty famously powerful commander, is nice to see, actually. Plus, being 5 colors means that you can add all the cards into one deck. Maybe I'll make that video. The rest of those cards are all playable in their own right, in a variety of different decks, except Patrick. Sorry, Patrick fans. And the lands do look really nice, actually. I like the Gary the Snail kind of being in each of them. I think that's a really nice homage. And even standalone, they actually look like really nice lands. If you're hoping to pick any of these up, I'd be trying to buy it the moment it goes live, however. I will be shocked if this one doesn't sell out. But wait, there's more news. If SpongeBob wasn't for you, then there's also a hint of some other secret lairs coming, including, in some promotional material, the reveal of possibly Sensei's Divining Top being included in the next secret lair. For those who don't know, this is a powerhouse card. It's banned everywhere except for Commander and Vintage. It also costs $30 for the cheapest copy, despite being a rare card reprinted only 2 years ago. If I were you, I would be watching out to see where this card ends up, because there's not many Commander decks that this card does not immediately upgrade. Speaking of high power, let's see how Modern is doing. You might remember the other month, a few cards were unbanned from Modern. Well, alongside Splinter Twin, a little-known bulk mythic called Mox Opal was unbanned. Fast forward to the last weekend, where the Modern Pro Tour has just taken place, and Mox Opal was front and center in a combo deck involving Grinding Station and Underworld Breach. Commander players might be familiar with this one, since it is a popular way to generate near-infinite mana as you mill your deck, casting and sacking using the Moxen over and over again, and then finishing your opponent off with a Grape Shot or any other storm spell. But I hear you say, there's always a broken deck. What makes this one special? Well, if you look over the deck lists, especially towards the winner's side of the event, you're going to see a lot of Grinding Breach. In fact, 30% of the meta was Grinding Breach. In the top 32, over half the decks were Grinding Breach. And in the final 8, 6 out of 8 of the decks were involving Mox Opal, Underworld Breach, and Grinding Station. The final was also a mirror, but hopefully you get the point. The question isn't if it will be banned. The question is definitely going to be what will be banned. The next ban day is March 31, and while I eagerly pray for the banning of Up the Beanstalk and Standard, I know for a fact one of these 3 cards in Modern is going to eat a ban. Will it be Underworld Breach, which since its printing has been a problematic card, or will Wizards undo the unban they made to Mox Opal? Maybe both. Personally, I think it would be a bit embarrassing to ban a card you just let free, especially after the price of it just went through the roof, as players frantically tried to scoop up copies of it so they could play. I think banning it would be a massive slap in the face to those players. One card that also spiked was Doorkeeper Thrall. This rare from Murders at Karlov Manor saw an almost 50% increase this week as a way for Modern players to try and deal with our new Grinding Station Moxen Breach overlords. In other card news, Matsalantli, the Great Door, and Real, the Everwise this week saw some notable increases. You might have already noticed both of these cards have discard printed on them, as they are seeing increased play alongside all the new Is It discard cards added with Aether Drip. I'm still eagerly awaiting for Monument to Endurance to have its day in the sun, which I suspect may also be driving up the prices of these cards. Lastly, we have a real wacky card that's been on a sudden climb. Gilt Leaf Archdruid is an old rare from Morningtide that's gone, like gone everywhere. I can't find a single copy of it in Australia, online, selling anywhere, and its price has already shot up 400%. I was struggling to figure out why, being that no druids had been printed recently, until I realized the upcoming Sultai Precon from Tarkir was revealed. No, the dragon itself isn't a druid, but the zombies it spits out are, meaning you can tap them, ideally 7 of them, to steal all of a player's lands. And I suppose if you play Seedborn Muse even, you can then go between players' turns and untap all your stuff and then tap it again to steal all your opponent's lands. Wow, that sounds fun. How high will this card go? I might have an update next week, but the highest sale was $11, which would already be a hell of a flip. That about does it for the Upkeep this week. Next week, it's spoiler season, so get keen. Till then, see you in the next one. Cheers.